Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Enough channel. In this video, we're going to review week 4 of the 2025-26 Premier League season, looking at both SuperCoach EPL and Fantasy Premier League. So we'll start with the SuperCoach EPL first. This week we scored a 112 points, which was not the worst, but only good enough for the top 39% of the round. And did see a slide down about 2,000 spots. So we've essentially doubled our rank in 1 week. So a bit disappointing, but I mean, we're not too far away. So could have been a lot worse. If we have a look at the team this week, so we had Petrovic in goal, get us a 3-point return. Against Chelsea was a tough fixture. Actually, was it Chelsea? I can't remember. So let's have a quick look who it was. Oh, Brighton, sorry. So that's fine. James Trafford has been relegated to the bench with Donnarumma coming in, so he might be our loophole option moving forward. The Arsenal defence was good, getting a clean sheet against Forest, so Timber Calafiori continuing to make us some cash and scoring us some good points. But they do have a tough fixture this week against Man City. Down the bottom there. Diouf not getting the clean sheet against Tottenham, so a 4-point return for him. Truffaut with a 4-point return, and Rodon with a 5-point return on the bench. So could have squeezed an extra point out, although probably we should have gone with the 5 midfielders, because Paqueta did blank, only getting 3-point return, but Grealish with 8 was solid. Reinders with 7 was good. Dewsbury Hall was 6, and then unfortunately we left Sarr on the bench, who did score a goal and racked up 15 points this week. So has reset his cash gen, so probably a hold moving forward. And then the forwards, so this is the reason why we loaded up. Erling Haaland scoring us 24 points thanks to 2 goals. Unfortunately, didn't have to see on him. We went with Salah, who did get the last minute penalty, so saved his game with an 11-point return. And Gyökeres also getting a goal, so 13 points for him. In terms of the head-to-heads this week, so 1-1 did get a win over the Red Devils, Vox's team. The 105, if it'll ever load. So we both had Gyökeres, both had Haaland. So David Raya with an 11-point return was good. I guess it was just having to play Rodon, Truffaut, and Rodri. Obviously, got a couple more points out of Calafiori and Dewsbury Hall. And left Cole Palmer on the bench. So well done that he kept him, because he came off the bench and scored a goal straight away, more or less. But some big scores in the league, which is why we slid a bit. Looks like 158 for Banana Bickles. I thought it said Bickies there for a second. But Lockie's team scoring big thanks to a 25-point return from Mickey van der Ven. Played Vicario with 14 in goal. Virgil with a 14-point return was pretty handy as well. And then captained Haaland. So I think anyone who scored pretty highly probably had the captaincy on Haaland. Played Palmer as well, which was nice. But, playing Ollie Watkins for 3 points meant it was far from perfect there. You could have had any of those bench options score better. In the second matchup, though, we did lose to Salama Babies, Pat's team. And if it'll ever load, we'll see how Pat went. So a bit galling that he didn't even get the full 11 on and still beat me. But some great scores from Caicedo. João Pedro continues to go well. Had Virgil, Bruno Fernandes with the 6-pointer. So I guess Captain Haaland was the big difference. And despite the name, doesn't have the great man, Mo, on his team. So interesting way to go about it. But it worked this week, so well done. I can see a few 140s. So it looks like a 148 for Empire of the Cop, Travis's team. top scoring this week with Munoz getting an 11 pointer, Vicario 14 points in goal, had Haaland as captain, had Van de Ven, had Caicedo. So some great returns there for Travis. Just have a quick look at the overall league as well. There's a couple of players that are in there that aren't in our head-to-heads. So 158 for Banana Bicky. So Shoab and Guna score top scoring overall with 502 after 4 rounds. Just looking for any big scores from deep. Doesn't look like it. Looks like Banana Bicky's got the top score in this league as well. So well done, Lockie. Good stuff. So, in terms of trades this week, so I don't know if there's any urgent trade outs. If we look at the break evens, Petrovic has a toughish one against Newcastle, but the fixtures do turn after this week. If we have a look, so after that he's got Leeds, Fulham, which is decent. I think also Forest and is it Wolves? No, Forest and Palace in the next four. So after Newcastle, so it's not the worst fixture. Man City's a bit tough, but then again a couple of easy ones moving forward. So I don't think he's an urgent trade. I guess Timber and Calafiori, it's a question of if you think they're keepers. They do have a tough fixture against Man City this week, so they may lose some of their value. But after that, they've got Newcastle, West Ham. No, sorry, I've clicked the wrong thing here. I want the upcoming fixture. Here we go. So after Man City, they got Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, Palace, Burnley, Sunderland. So not the worst run of fixtures. Maybe a couple of tough ones, but then it does get a bit easier. Juice still got some money to make. Truffet, Rodon can still make some cash. Paqueta probably has one more week of cash gen, then we can work out what to do. Grealish and Dewsbury Hall still got negative break evens. SARS reset his break even to 0, so decent hold. Reinders just depends what you want to do. Has a tough one against Arsenal this week. But then if we scroll down, once it loads, Burnley, Brentford, Everton the next three, so decent fixtures coming up. Liverpool's not for a couple of months yet, so probably worthwhile considering holding as well. And then Haaland, Salah, Gyökeres up front. Again, we're pretty comfortable with those three, although albeit the two of them match up against each other this week, so a bit of a tough fixture. Mo Salah is losing a bit of cash, so if you can sort of ride the wave, I think he's always a good chance of scoring. Got the Liverpool derby up this week, so it should be a good opportunity. And I guess the perfect sort of option for the loophole, considering it does kick off earlier in the evening. But you can see he's scored pretty well. 3 games, he's got the goals, albeit 2 of them have come super late. So it is a nervous watch, but good fixtures coming up. Palace, Chelsea will be tough, but Man United should be okay. Brentford, Villa, Man City in game week 11. So I think he is worth a hold. So don't think there's any urgent trades, but there is a couple of moves I would like to make. So I'm thinking, as good as the upcoming run is, I think Reinders can make way at the moment because we do want to get on the cheapie, which is probably a fair way down the list because he hasn't exactly popped off yet, but does have a good role, does have good job security. And the price point is the main thing that we're interested in. Um, might have gone past him. He's on my watch list, so I'm just going to filter it out and go with Daichi Kamada from Crystal Palace, sort of replacing Eze up front there. So we're going to put him in this week, and it does give us a bit of cash to spend. So I think we might want to start looking at our defensive options as well. Um, and probably look at cashing out on Timber, who's made us 3 mil up to 12.6, but I think we'll just say well done and we'll move on. With his break even of 20. And I think the obvious one is Van de Ven. We do like him early doors. He has made some money already. He's already gone up 2.4, but he still has a -5 break even. So we can definitely cash in on that. And we are looking to target those sort of keepers like a Van Dyke, and that sort of thing moving forward. So I think Van de Ven is perfectly fine. Whether we use a boost to cash out Calafiori, I'm not yet locked in on. But with Frimpong back, there is an option to look at him. I don't know what his price point is at the moment. So he's still at 6.5, and he is got a high break even. So even if he got a clean sheet this week, he may lose a little bit of value. So we can probably wait one more week on that sort of move. Um, what about on the other edge? Kirkes we'd be interested in. So yeah, hasn't set the world on fire. So losing some value there. What is Van Dyke's break even? One. Say might might not get him much cheaper this season. Obviously, there will be a run where Liverpool do concede a couple of goals, but could be a little set and forget option there. Ray Nilda, I've got him in FPL. He's actually gone pretty well. So he's actually fourth on the overall scoring list, which is pretty interesting. Um, oh, that's for the VAs. Get rid of that. So, I mean, Timbo, Calafiori are what they are. We've got that. Semenyo, we've obviously missed out a bit on, but he's not going to score every week. Pedro may score every week, so he may have missed the boat there. Caicedo's gone up a lot in value, so well done if you had him. Um, I guess, yeah, with this cash, do we look at locking in a premium keeper like a Vicario or one from another team, perhaps? Could go Munoz, who's started well this season in defence. Kukureya's been all right. Didn't sort of go well this week, but it's going to happen. Zubimendi's making some cashes. Break even would be good. Actually, we should have had a look at break evens. I'm just going to confirm those trades, and we'll get the break evens up on the screen. So Ballard's still top of the pops. Once he comes back from injury, he is a walk-up start, making cash. Bergvall with the 23 this week has reset his break even. Rolfs, the Sunderland goalkeeper's done well again, so -9 for him. Well done if you did start him as your keeper. Um, Diakite, not sure that's how you say it, but didn't play this week, but he's going to make some cash again when he walks out. Zubimendi's there with that -6 break even, that's nice. Joof, Bogle still doing well. Van de Ven's there as well, so definitely number one option in defence this week. Gahey went alright, so expensive, but going to make some cash. Ingamoa got another start, so he's technically on the bubble, but as a late bench option. I think I saw Simmons is the number one trade in this week, but give him a second look. He scored 14 this week, which is good, and we do know of his ability from his previous exploits overseas. But definitely one on the radar for next week as a trade target. So yeah, I think that's the play this week. Obviously, we've got a bit of cash in the bank. Um, what's Cole Palmer doing now that he's back? So his price hasn't changed because he's only played the 2 games. But a break even of 17, so he does have to score to not lose cash. So I think we give Paqueta one more week and then we can probably do the trade back. Maybe one of Dewsbury Hall or Grealish becomes Simmons and we start to build from there. So we'll just do the 2 trades, keep the boost up the sleeve, and we'll go from there. But Fantasy Premier League as well. So I think for the first week this season, I've actually gone above average with a 70-point return. Has seen me get out of the 7 millions overall up into 6 million. So progress. But my team this week had Kelleher in goal, scored 2 points. Dubravka actually scored 3, so that would have been slightly better. Van de Ven with the 14 was handy to have in the team this week. Diouf and De Kuyper not getting clean sheets, so 1 point apiece. The late penalty saved Mo Salah with an 18-point return for us as captain. Minte got an assist, so 6 points for him. Kamada, Reinders, Wirtz all blanking. Haaland with the 2 goals would have been the captaincy option this week with 13. And Gyökeres with a 6-point return thanks to the goal was timely. On the bench, Wan-Bissaka blanked. Reynildo got the clean sheet. Strand Larson injured. So, in terms of the head-to-head stuff this week, I did get a win. Managed to climb off the basement floor with a win over Miles Express, who scored 62. Joseph's team. So he had Haaland as captain, but Palmer with the 7, Porro with the 6-point return. Not a lot of other returns on field, unfortunately. So, but in the league, the team that did best this week looks like it was Bill's team, the Yarra Spartans with a 79-point return. So played the wild card. So brought in Lacroix, Porro, Munoz, all with defensive returns, I should say. Vicario in goal as well with the clean sheet was nice. Captain Haaland had Salah. Pedro as well with the 7-point return was nice. So good stuff there, Bill. In terms of the team this week, so actually transfers first. So we've got one free transfer. So Wan-Bissaka's lost value, which is not ideal. We do have 0.2, so we can sideways him potentially. Also got Strand Larson here, which is a bit of an issue. Obviously, Wirtz isn't setting the world on fire. So there is an option of the wild card this week. So if we had a look, I think they would be the 3 trade outs. In terms of the trade ins, I think Pedro looks like almost a must have up front at 7.7. So defensively, where do we go? Like looking at the overall at the moment. So Crystal Palace has been good. So do we go all the way up to Munoz or do we stick with like a Gahey? It's a bit cheaper. LaCroix on the other side maybe to Munoz potentially. Or do we, go all the way up to an Arsenal asset? Maybe not this week against Man City. Um, so guess the other one is, do we double up Spurs defense and go with Pedro Porro? Um, it may depend on the midfielder we want as well. So Semenyo is clear and away number one at the moment. Do we back him in? He did get the penalty this week as well, so there's the penalties as that little kicker for him. So if we lock him in, that gives us 4.2. So we'd have to go real cheap on a defender. Basically, then locking ourselves into playing these three most weeks, if not every week. Do we look at maybe someone like a Jack Grealish is going okay, 6.8 mil. Has that attacking upside against Liverpool this week, not the number one option, but I guess could be worse. Caicedo's going pretty well at 5.5. Do we go with something like that? Zubimendi, is he going to go up in value again at 5.4? What's on page 2? Paqueta went all right the other week. We could go with Sarr, albeit, he's a bit hit and miss. I think any of those 5 million guys are going to be a bit that way. Let's see, if there's only 4 million options, double Sunderland's not ideal. I mean, Rodon's gone okay at 4 mil. Do we just lock him in as a in case of emergency type pick? And then that does allow us to go Semenyo in the midfield. Go back to page 1. I mean, that does look like a pretty strong sort of squad, especially getting Pedro up front. I mean, I'll probably need to play the wild card to not incur the penalty. Do we use it more strategically or do we just go it right now? Guess what's coming up? There is another international break in the near future, so what's Pedro's run like? So Man U, Brighton, Liverpool, the next three. So probably tougher than his last few fixtures. So I don't know if we need to rush in on him. We'll just restore stream last. And obviously not playing at the moment, so it's not ideal. But if we do have some good options up here, well, it probably doesn't matter too much. And I guess Semenyo against Newcastle is at home, so that's okay. Then Leeds, Fulham. I know they have a couple of good fixtures after that as well. So, but do we need to panic on Verts? Maybe not. And then I guess it's just a case of, well, I think we do want to get rid of Wan Bissaka. He's not going to really feature in our team much moving forward. So do we prepare for those upgrades with Rodon? Or do we get a Gahey who might be a bit more of a playable option week to week? So could be alright this week, maybe not next week against Liverpool. Yeah, a couple of tough ones coming up. What is oh no, that's the wrong one. So Rodon, what's his upcoming fixture look like? So Wolves, Bournemouth, Tottenham. So a couple of toughies, but a few easy ones as well either side. How's his defensive contribution? So 10, 14 against Arsenal. So I think might have scored okay. Yeah, so 5 goals conceded, but the defensive contributions got him there. So it's not the worst option. So yes, let's do that. We'll just do the one move. One Basaka out, rode on in, free up a little bit of cash. Um, we'll have another think about Verts and what we're going to do with him. But I do think in a few weeks to get Strand Larson up to Pedro would be nice. So that might be the sort of short term goal there. So in terms of the team this week, I guess the fact that he's injured does make the choice a bit easier. Again, probably not playing the cheap defenders, so lock that in. And I think Salah against Everton's a bit easier than these guys up against each other's teams. So don't need to change too much there. But we'll wrap the video up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. If you enjoy the Premier League content, give us a like. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.